Hey everybody, Comic Crack. And something I've been meaning to do for a little while is let's take a look at some Criterion. So Scott Costin Bromstar has done a new series of videos, Criterion Corner, which are really highly recommended. Really cool stuff. He even had a Google Hangout chat with Ghost Critic about the Criterion movie Fat Girl, I believe is the title of it. And again, I suggest checking it out. Criterion for me, it's one of those, when I started my series of looking at movies, I didn't get much farther than one, but I think I have some stuff recorded as I'm doing this right now. I'm just thinking about maybe if I can find, I know that I have it on the computer, I'll try maybe editing in some of the Criterion video that I shot already. And I think I had a Something Weird and a Blue Underground, because I know that I did the Mondo Macabro one already. The fuck was I talking about? It's quite a tangent. You know it's a tangent when shit that's going on in your inside voice starts coming out of your mouth, and then you snap into realizing that you're actually talking on a video, and you're just kind of jibber jabbering. Anyway, at that time when I did the Criterion, I had a stack, but since then I've got quite a bit more. I mentioned it before, but if you sign up to the Criterion newsletter, they send you emails, and the really good thing about that is, as Scott has said in his videos, Criterion movies can be pretty pricey, but if you sign up for the emails, they notify you when they have a 50% off sale, and I think I've hit 2 of them on their online store, where it was 50% off of everything that they had in their online store. And it's been a great way to get some fantastic titles and a box set for dirt cheap. The shipping is amazing. It usually comes really fast. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg, and when I've ordered like a good kind of chunk, you know, what would have cost me kind of $200 if I would have bought them at regular price, you know. So it's been a great way to pick up some movies that I've really wanted. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is the other 2/3 of the family is out for a little bit. I'm going to start talking about some stuff, and if there's some sloppy editing, you'll know that they came home and I had to break away. So it's kind of the usual for Comic Crack videos lately. Just keeping all that in mind. So here we go. Let's start with the DVDs. So this is the stack of DVDs. With Criterion, I'm really trying to just get Blu-rays because of the space that's offered on Blu-ray discs. There's room for more extra features that they've added that weren't on the DVD copies. Some of these DVDs I've had for a long time, so that's why they're still here. I did have a few more, but some of those titles that I did have got upgraded to Blu-ray, so I traded up, sold the DVDs for a healthy profit, and then bought the Blu-ray edition of the movie that I had on DVD. These ones that are here, as far as I know, they're not available on Blu-ray yet. The last time I checked anyway, I'm pretty sure that that's true. So anyway, here we go. The newest one that I got, I'm a huge fan of Killing Them Softly. And this one was by the same author that did Killing Them Softly, George V. Higgins. Sorry, the long pause was me blanking on his name. Higgins was the author's name. So this is the Friends of Eddie Coyle and it's directed by Peter Yates, who did a movie that I still haven't seen called Robbery, and Robbery got him noticed by wow, T. Fuller, you're so great with names right now. It's unbelievable. It's kind of driving me a little crazy. Bullet, Steve fucking McQueen. So Steve McQueen saw Robbery and decided that this is the guy that I want to do Bullet. And then he went and did Bullet. Friends of Eddie Coyle is amazing. It's amazing. Robert Mitchum is in it. First of all, if you haven't seen Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt, it's outstanding. It's so good. It's character driven, it's dialogue driven, and it's so fucking amazing. It's one of those, I think it didn't get much in the way of admiration, and I know it didn't even last very long in the theaters here anyway, because I wanted to go back to the theater to see it a second time, and it was literally a few days after I'd seen it, and it was gone from the theater already. I think it lasted like maybe 2 weeks in the theater, if that. Higgins is a great writer as far as like crime, or he was a great writer as far as like crime fiction. I believe he was a lawyer, so like all the best writers do, and especially ones that are in like crime fiction, they take a lot from real life, so a lot of the conversations and dialogue and character traits are taken from people that he had exposure to. So they become these dialogue-driven, just kind of poetic masterpieces of films, but it makes for mass audience, it makes for some really uneventful watching. I mean, there is some stuff that happens in Killing Them Softly, but it's definitely not your Martin Scorsese type gangster flick. It's just kind of the ins and outs of, these are just guys at a job. This just happens, their work happens to be criminal activities. And it's the same with this one. This follows closely, as they did with, especially with this one, I think they did with Killing Them Softly, in the special features of this, when they would get hung up on some dialogue, they had the book on set as they were shooting it, and they'd go to the book to pull dialogue out that then made it into the movie. So it really was an honest representation of the book, and I don't think it had much notoriety when it came out. Again, it just kind of went under the radar. It was just too slow for some people, but if you like wordy stuff, and if you like some really good dialogue, and in that kind of, get immersed in this crime world, it's so great. And of course the extras, I don't know if you can really see that. New restored high definition audio commentary featuring Peter Yates, stills gallery, and then as usual a really nice thick booklet. So that's Friends of Eddie Coyle. Jean Cocteau, Les Enfants Terribles, directed by Jean-Pierre Melville. I love Melville. Melville is another guy who, it'll be a common theme. I love crime fiction and noir and stuff like that. I really am a big fan of that style of thing. I had stumbled onto some Jean-Pierre Melville when I saw Le Samurai. And the guy's a master at doing that kind of thing. The French take on the American gangster movie. Really cool. This, however, is not a crime. This is about a brother and a sister and their kind of world together. So the reason I had got it was because I was such a fan of Melville. I wanted to try out some of his other stuff. This one didn't really stick with me. This one was 1950, I should say. Friends of Eddie Coyle was 1973. Make sure I say that too. This one didn't really stick with me as something that impressed me overly. It's not that I hated it. It just, I didn't love it. And that's kind of the gamble, but for me it's a good gamble because there's so much to be gained from Criterion. I don't mind taking a chance on some of the movies Some of them are hits, and some of them are such big hits that it really, I just end up enjoying it a heck of a lot. What can I say about this one here? The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Yeah, nothing I can really say about it. Wes Anderson. If you haven't seen this movie, it's just such a treat. I mean, Wes Anderson's movies to me are pretty amazing to begin with, but this one, I don't know, this one does something special for me. This and Fantastic Mr. Fox. I think it's the use of, like in this one, there's a submarine set. In some of the special features, they show you kind of details of the set itself, where they actually did kind of a cutaway of the interior of the submarine, so they could track actors walking through the set basically, and walking through the scene and kind of talking together and kind of interacting. It's little touches like that that give his movies this kind of, not quite fairy tale, not quite otherworldly, but they really make them, they give them a unique tone as far as, I don't know, there's nobody else really that's doing what he's doing, and it's sincere, it's funny, it's like genuinely funny. It's not slapstick kind of funny. It's just genuinely funny, but also like really heartwarming, and I don't know, there's something special about his movies, that's for sure. There's a look at that. Let's hope that kind of holds focus so you can see what's on this. I think this is one of the ones that might be available on Blu-ray, but I just haven't upgraded mine yet. So yeah, I said I was going to do the years. It's a darn good question. 2005 is when I believe this version came out. I'm not sure. This one I think I bought used, which is why there's no book in it. So it's 2005, the Criterion. Oh, and this is also only I just noticed this actually, disc 1, the film. This is part of a 2-disc set. So yes, this is definitely a used copy that I traded in for then. Definitely going to have to upgrade that one. Definitely, yeah, definitely. Say that a few more times. There you go. So that's that. Let's move into, this is quite a topic, and this guy will be revisited when we get into the Blu-rays as well. A little gentleman by the name of SEIJUN Suzuki. This guy has got to be one of the most important directors for me as a lover of film and as a lover of Asian culture and art and music and all that sort of thing. SEIJUN Suzuki completely blew my mind when I first discovered, I think the first one I saw, I believe I saw Branded to Kill first, and then I saw Tokyo Drifter, and then kind of explored from there. But I believe I'm pretty sure it was Branded to Kill was the first one. I don't want to talk too much about him right now. I'd like to talk more about him when I get to the Blu-rays, because I have those specific films on Blu-ray, so then it'll give me a chance to talk about them. But just suffice it to say that these movies, if you do know SEIJUN Suzuki, this one's from 1966, Fighting Elegy, 86 minutes, black and white, master of both black and white and color, first of all, like the people that worked with him, not him, because obviously he didn't light the movies or anything. And that's one of the things that really is clear about a guy like this, and actually about Wes Anderson too, that a lot of the times directors get all of the credit, which is fine. It's like any kind of higher up job. When shit goes bad, you're to blame, but when shit goes right, you're also to kind of praise. But it's apparent with these guys and many other directors, the team that they have working with them are really, really important. And Suzuki had for a lot of his films, he had a lot of the same people, like especially when it came to production designers and set designers and things like that. And I believe the director of photography as well too. I don't want to say that 100% because I'm not 100% sure about that. And that's kind of what gives his films the flair that they have. This is from 1963, Youth of the Beast, 92 minutes in color. Essays in both of these, new transfers, original trailer. This one just has improved English subtitle translation, so it just has those three things. This one has that, plus a video interview with director SEIJUN Suzuki and actor Joe Shishido, made by Nakatsu in 2001, which is great. Joe Shishido is quite a story about that guy too. He had surgery. He thought that he didn't look unique enough in the kind of landscape of actors, so he had surgery to basically puff out his cheeks, so he kind of looks kind of chipmunk-ish. But it made him instantly recognizable, and then his roles in these movies as like a gangster made him kind of a hot commodity at the time. He's since that there's newer, I think it's in this one even, this one from 2001, he had issues with the implants and he had to get them taken out, and now he's got these scars on his face. He's kind of a classic, like when you think of like a stereotype of an actor full of themselves, he really is that a little bit. He's a great guy and a great actor, but you can see just how self-conscious, because he makes reference to it a few times in the interview. He's extremely self-conscious about those scars in good kind of actor fashion, I guess. Both of these movies are great. The other thing that's great about Suzuki was that he just has a knack as a kind of studio director, which is what he was. He has a knack for taking the material that's given to him to shoot and making it his own, as far as injecting his own attitudes, the way that a big thing for me in a lot of kind of art and things is I love the way that a specific artistic creative job, like a musician or a filmmaker or a painter or an artist or whatever, can be kind of messed with. And the thing that I focus most on it, especially when it comes to like deconstructing rock music like US Maple does, Suzuki is in that kind of category as far as like deconstructing film making, how he moves through time, the ability that he has to edit together a story that is kind of confusing, but it still works really, really well, and you can still follow. And he was able to do that because the material, and I think he's even said this in the past, that he just used to get this generic material that he would almost be kind of just bored with, and in order to kind of keep himself interested, and also, as he says, this is what he said, that he did it because the goal of these movies was to entertain people, and he felt his way of movie making would entertain people. It didn't entertain people at the time because he did get fired after Branded to Kill. But now in the future, 2014, and when these started coming out, I guess it was it late 90s, or okay, so these ones are 2005, but I think Branded to Kill and Tokyo Drifter came out, maybe it was early 2000s then, maybe it was. He definitely entertained the future. Bottom line, if you're a fan of Suzuki, these two are fantastic. Just check them out. Fighting Elegy, Youth of the Beast. Masaki Kobayashi's Kwaidan. This is from 1965. 161 minutes color. This was up there with Branded to Kill, not only in kind of my love of Japanese movies and one of my favorite kind of Asian movies. It also marked kind of the first Criterion that I actually bought, and my kind of early exposure to the Criterion collection in general. And again, blows me away even to this day. Special features: stunning new widescreen transfer, original theatrical trailer, new and improved English subtitles, and optimal image quality dual layer edition, whatever, and a booklet. And that's the unfortunate thing about this. There's not much in the way of extras this version, and the booklet is more like a just kind of an overview and a little bit of a short article. Unbelievable. The biggest thing that impressed me about this, and what impresses me about Japanese cinema in general, is their ability to mix kind of their traditional plays with filmmaking. So the entire movie, the entire 161 minutes, first of all, was created by a guy who has a very Japanese name, but in fact was an American, I believe, and it was created on a soundstage with sets built, utilizing some lighting tricks to kind of change moods and change feeling and stuff. And it's beautiful, and it's kind of a collection of horror stories. I believe there's 4. Let's double check. Yes, right here. So pull this out of here. First one is called The Black Hair. The second one is called The Woman of the Snow, Hoichi the Earless, and In a Cup of Tea. And they're beautiful. And the other thing that stands out about this too is the sound design, especially on this The Black Hair. The sound design and the use of sound effects, and not just to portray actions, but just to add to an overall mood, is very, very impressive to me. And again, it's the style of filmmaking that just blew me away with this movie. My friend Paul, who I used to watch movies with, this was his copy. I can't remember why he was selling it. Maybe he got maybe another version came out. I can't quite remember. I haven't done research lately on this specific one to see if it's come out on Blu-ray or other editions have come out with extras. Either way, I bought this from him. We used to get together every Sunday night in Ontario when I lived in Kitchener-Waterloo, and we'd get hammered and watch movies, and it was a blast. It was just a great time. He exposed me to a lot of great stuff. He exposed me to some, free jazz music. He exposed me to Criterion. He got me interested in a whole bunch of things I normally never would have seen. Hell, he even got me buying DVDs. It was because of him that I got a DVD player and bought DVDs, because I was quite content up to that point to stick with my VHS tapes. But he pointed out the errors of my ways and exposed me to all the great stuff that was being released on DVD, and to this day is still being released on DVD and Blu-ray. Very, very impressive. Anyway, Quiet End, really, really great. This is Criterion collection number, I think that says 90. It's hard to read. I believe it's 90, so it's early on in their output, so I don't know, like I said, I don't know how available this is, but Cosm Bromstar, Scott, if you're watching this, if you haven't seen this and you see this anywhere used, highly, highly recommend it. And I recommend it to everybody, but especially Scott. It's a beautiful film, really, really cool. So that's Quiet. So Criterion has a series of miniature box sets, the Eclipse series, where they look at the work of various directors, and they either present some of their early films, some of their short films, or whatever, or just kind of compile films that they've already put out into kind of one box set. This is one of the ones that I had seen. I had rented all of these movies from one of our places here called Movie Village, which sadly doesn't exist as much anymore. I mean, it still exists, but it's not like it used to be. I had rented all of these through them, loved each and every one of them, minus maybe Thirst, was it the Thirst for Love or Black Sun? I can't remember. One of those was kind of not as amazing to me. So when I saw this go on sale on the Criterion site, I snatched it up and got it for a steal. It's one of those that, as of this filming, I don't believe, and I know for sure when I bought it, it wasn't available on Blu-ray. Now, maybe Criterion is cleaning this type of stuff out with sales because the plan is to release them on Blu-ray. But as of right now, I don't know if that's actually happened, so I got it. And the director is Koreyoshi Kurahara, The Warped World of Koreyoshi Kurahara. And it has 5 films on it. Intimidation, The Warped Ones, I Hate But Love, Black Sun, and Thirst for Love. And they range from 1960 to 1967. And they're all around the, well, 65 minutes, 75 minutes, 105 minutes, 95 minutes, 99 minutes. I don't even know what to tell you about this. Again, let me put you down for one sec. Again, I love Japanese cinema and Asian cinema, and the things that they were doing in these kind of they were kind of the B movie in a double feature when a lot of these films were being shot, and they were directed at kind of the teenager market is what they were supposed to be, or the young adult kind of market. So they were all kind of crazy and unhinged type of movies, and lots of crime and gangsters and all sorts of stuff to kind of appeal to the youth, so the youth-oriented movies. The thing that makes them so great is that unhinged quality, first of all, and the fact that the directors kind of had no holds barred. They could kind of attempt all sorts of various things. They could try all sorts of crazy actions, crazy camera work, crazy acting, crazy storylines. They had kind of leeway to experiment, really. It's the same thing when you look at some directors who've started out in maybe like adult movies or porno movies and things, and that's also true in Asian culture. The people who did like the Pink movies, which were kind of their softcore porn movies, they got to experiment and build their craft and really find their own voice as a director. So it really made some out of control, amazing movies that you just don't see as much these days. Just really adventurous, and I always loved that sort of thing. So there's a look at all the covers of that. The one that blew me away the most was this Warped Ones, as far as like just kind of out of control actors and storyline and camera work, and the use of jazz in a lot of these movies too. There's a lot of jazz music. We'll just read this here. A juvenile delinquent gets out of the pen and immediately embarks on a rampage of untethered anger, most of it directed at the girlfriend of the journalist who helped send him up. Shot through with the same kind of bebop bravado that Godard was experimenting with half a world away. The anarchic descent into amoral madness that is The Warped Ones sounded a lost generation's cry for help, and was one of the films that kicked off Japan's cinematic 60s with a bang. So there you go. There's a taste of that. Again, I don't know how. It's kind of a bit too. If you're just kind of getting into Criterion, it's a bit of a heavy-duty price tag box set if you don't get it on sale, and it's maybe not the best if you're kind of new to world cinema or Criterion in general. But if you're adventurous, I'd definitely say give these suckers a try.